what I'd like to remind all of you, and it's where I took my own take on something called The Secret, which many of you saw the movie of it, and many of you read the books and so on. I had a little different take on that. I said, we do not attract into our lives what we want. We attract what we are. And who we are is really nothing more than the beliefs that we carry around about who we are and what we're capable of doing. For example, if you're a woman, what is it possible for you to do? What did you learn when you were a young girl about what women can do, about what women can't do? When I was in high school, when I graduated from high school in 1958, I think 1 or 2% of the people admitted to medical school and law school were women. Today, a half a century or more later, it's 50%. We've changed. But these memes are things that, we grew up to believe in. What is possible for me, what's not possible for me, what can happen, can I attract something into my life, can I not, and so on. And most of these are just viruses. They're viruses that are in our minds that convince us that we can't change, we can't make things happen, or we can make things happen, but somebody else has to do it for us. You are the product of all of the choices that you've made up until now in your life. And you say, well, wait a minute, I'm shy, and I was shy as a little kid, and I learned all of this from my mother who told me that I couldn't do this. And I said, and were there other kids who had mothers who told them that and ignored that? Well, yeah, we had a few kids like that in our well, so they didn't choose that, and you did. So I'm not saying that you want to be filled with resentment towards anybody for any of the things that are going on in your life. What I'm suggesting is that if somebody else is responsible for what it is that you are in your life, I used to tell my patients when I had a practice out in New York years ago when I was teaching at St. John's University in Queens, New York, I used to tell them, I'd say, who is it that's responsible for all of these things about you? And they'd say, well, it was my culture and my parents, my mother particularly. Mothers take a big rap on all of this stuff. I'd say, so it was your mother? Yes. So I want you to leave my office, and I want you to go get her. And I want you to bring her to me, and I will treat her, and you will get better. Total responsibility for everything, even your illnesses, even your infirmities, whatever it is. If you're waiting for whoever caused it to change, then you're waiting for Godot, the famous play, and Godot never shows up. What are the payoffs? Like, all human behavior has a payoff, no matter what it is. All of these excuses, you get something from it. I'm just going to go through very quickly because I want to get to the next one. I like the next one a lot. All right? We continue with these excuses because they help us to avoid the real work of going within and becoming who we know we were destined to become. We have a calling inside of us that says, I want to do this, but there's something I'm avoiding, and if I use an excuse, then I have a ready cop-out. I'm safer. I can use these excuses to manipulate other people. I can use these excuses to be right. In all of my engagements and all of my conversations and everything, I just need to be right. I can use it to blame other people. I can use it to protect myself from anything that might be dangerous out there. I can use it to escape becoming a stronger, more vivacious, more intelligent, more dominant human being as a human being. So all of these are, and I've written books about this earlier in my career. It's not my purpose here to give you all of that, but know that all of your behaviors have built into them a payoff. The next question is one of the most important questions that I think you can ask. And this is a paradigm that if you get this, I think you'll be able to make the changes. What would my life look like if I couldn't use these excuses? If I just somehow a magic wand was passed over my head and it said, you can no longer think that it's going to be difficult. You can no longer think that it's going to be risky. You can no longer think in blame terms. You can no longer think you're too old, or that you're too young, or that you're too weak, or you're not strong enough, or whatever it might be. If you just couldn't think that, and I will ask people that question over and over again, and they start thinking about it, they start going into the excuse, I say, wait a minute, you can't think that in this little exercise that we're doing here. What would your life look like if you couldn't use the excuse? And you know what almost everybody says? I would be free. I would feel free for the first time in my life. If I couldn't blame somebody else, if I couldn't use one of these cop-outs, one of these misalignments that I've been using in my life, I would finally feel free. And then as you begin to realize that, I think one of the most important things that you can learn about this paradigm is to ask yourself, like, how would I feel? How would I feel?